when was the last time in Chainsaw Man we just got an info dump chapter? I'm legitimately trying to figure out in my head. Like, I think the last time we really got a chapter that was just primarily focused on build up and setup was what the Gun Devil reveal. Like, since then, we got a lot of action and a lot of more compact character stuff. After that point, we got to know Himeno and that whole sad road, and then we got Reze, and since then I don't think we've gotten like a lot of stuff. Like, we actually got acknowledgement in this chapter about the whole fact that Denji and anybody in that kind of group, like the Katana and the Bomb, they are not humans, they're not devils, they're not fiends, they are a different kind of being. I've just been referring to them as hybrids at the moment, but eventually we'll get an official name. But the chapter starts out looking at the really nice color page. I love that the theme for Denji is orange and green. I really love that, just very, very nicely candy-like color style that Fujimoto uses. Especially because like a lot of his art is either gory or pretty rough, but his environment, what's weird is his monsters are really cool, his environments are really detailed, but then like his people look, a lot of the time look a little chalky sometimes, but then like his colors palette is just, oh my god, I love his color palette. But Denji, in front of the door, it's the whole part where he's in that weird kind of not an alleyway, but just passageway with the door on it with it's either an eyeball or like a little peephole. I can't 100% tell, but then Pochita doesn't want him to open it. I still think that like Pochita's like hiding his true form, not of like, oh, I don't think you should see it. I think it's more like he doesn't want him to see it, because we know Pochita definitely liked Denji. If it was for the fact that he gave Denji life and let him be up, wanted him to show his dreams, it wasn't like a selfish reason. It was all just like trying to help him, because they had each other. And I like the idea of him just not wanting to risk the idea of Denji ever having like a sense of fear or just like any real grotesque like reaction to what that form is. And I've talked about it before, and I think my theory on what Pochita actually looks like will be revealed eventually, to really tie into what I'm going with. But Denji wakes up. We got Meowie, who is sleeping with Denji now. She knows some good guy. He's a ruffian, but he's a good guy. And Power's mad because her cat is hanging out with Denji. She likes Denji. Denji's a good boy. And he's like, just reminiscing. He sees coffee. He thinks of Reze, and he had this funny part where he's just like, I don't know if I'll ever know the feeling of sadness or joy again for the rest of my life. And then Makima shows up and she's like, hey, I'm going on vacation, you guys want to go? And Denji just all up and happy, like excited. I know that's how Denji is. I'm very, very curious to know, like, in reality, not just Denji being Denji's self, like in the depths of his heart, the actual complexities of his emotions, does he actually still hold like emotional hopes for Reze, which I'm really hoping. I really like their dynamic. I know Power is like the female lead, and Makima's like, she's like the very mysterious, ominous, potential crazy villain character that Denji wishes was his romantic interest. But Reze and Denji just really like have a lot of chemistry, and I'm hoping that she's not dead. But as it is, you got this funny part when it's like, hey, we're you guys want to go to vacation, and we know Power is afraid of Makima. And like you get this kind of just like a no text, there's just like dead stare panel, and then she's like, I have actually a very important meeting that day, so no thank you. And Makima's just like, we didn't even set a date. You're not tricking me, you're not clever, stop doing what you're doing. But then meanwhile Denji's like, he's happy, he's excited for it. And then just very in character when she's like, oh yeah, what days do you have available that you can we can set this up? And Aki being Aki's like, I haven't used any of my paid time off. Dude, take a vacation. I know how you are, but please just take some time off. I know, do some you self, even if it's for training. Just take some time off, man. But Denji's super happy, saying that one of the top 10 reasons to be alive is it's the fact that he gets to go on a vacation with Makima. And at that point, seriousness takes over as we see that the media has now taken attention to Denji and his form. Like, they're worried like the devil hunters are using this hybrid devil creature to fight other ones, and they're like, oh yeah, there's, you know, the women have said that, you know, he's helped them. I really like the callback. They're like, but we do have a guy who, you know, says that while still in his car he was thrown at a devil by that, you know, this chainsaw devil. I'm so happy that part got called back, because that is still it was such a funny moment of just like, thank you for saving me, and he's like, nah, fuck you. He's like throws him back at the bat devil. I was so happy about that. I love that whole bit. It was just such a nice early, like, Denji's like a quotations hero, not a true hero, but, you know, he's the hero that he attempts to be. And while, like, you see, like, Power's happy to see Denji's fighting on the train, Denji's like, hey, it's cool, I'm on TV. And you just see, like, all the guys, including Makima, just, like, shade over them. They're just like, no, we're gonna have to deal with a lot of bullshit on this one. And we were gonna have a lot, and it's funny because it's not just speculated. The way that they talk after that, she's like, the bomb got what she wanted. Now all these guys know about Denji. You know, we're gonna have to deal with a lot of people coming after him. Like, you know, they're like America and China are both gonna be after him. They're saying like people like Denji. They're not devils. They're not fiends. They're not humans. And I know this shouldn't say not human, but I mean, he's not human. He's some form of weird, like, again, hybrid. Saying, oh, well, they're very valuable, they're going to be sought after, America and China are going to want them. And like I said, it's not just like, oh, it seems like it's going to be a lot of work. You know, there's a whole, like, big line of just like, hey, call this guy, get him all over here, we're going to have a lot of work in our hands, you know, get this guy, tell him that we're going to need his help for the next month, you know, get all these guys armed and moved up. And Denji just, you know, there's going to be some guys after killing you soon, so you are currently pretty much grounded. You are not going to be going out for a bit. And Denji just has this sad look on his face, but kind of more astonished, and then just door shuts, and he's just like, oh, what had happened? My excitement all destroyed. But obviously things are going to get serious, and we know that everything going on, that you know, they're gearing it for the Gun Devil. Makima straight said that they're going to fight him in a year, and they're saying we need everyone's strength to kill the Gun Devil. And Aki, knowing something, you know, he seems a little bit like about that, because it's revealed when Aki is talking to the Angel Devil, which again, I really like their dynamic. I like that he's found a new friend. He's a devil, so he's got a lot higher level of survivability than Himeno. So I'm hoping he lives longer. Plus, with his whole powers, I'm really hoping that he lives, and Aki at least has a friend. But the Angel Devil is explaining that a devil never truly dies. When they die in this world, you know, they don't actually just die. They go back to hell. They'll get blown apart, cut up, turned to ash. They will go back and revived in hell. And it's not just that. There's belief that if they die in hell, that's when they are recreated in in this world. And their power is all formed off of fear, because also as long as people fear them, they will be given another form. And I'm guessing that I would like to believe that, you know, they go to hell and it's like a giant just battle royale free-for-all for the man in charge, whoever is the most powerful. And so they come when they die, they come back to the, we'll just say Earth. You'll just say Earth as it, for now. And they come back to Earth, and they want to make a name for themselves. They want to get people afraid of them, and that way, when they can either rule over here, or when they die, they return with their power intact, and maybe that's how they'll take the top spot. But when they're talking about it, we get some nice comments when Aki's like, do you remember anything about it? Because they're from hell. He's like, you seem to know this information. Can I get anything about this? As the Angel Devil is explaining how the devils, they kind of have this endless cycle of death and rebirth. No matter when they die, they'll be reborn in the other world. And then when they die in that world, they'll reborn in the previous one. It's just back and forth. Never truly dying. And he's like, do you remember anything about hell? And Angel Devil's like, do you remember anything about your mom's womb? And yeah, I think he can kind of understand it's this just because he was alive in that one, even though he could have some suspicions, it's like, doesn't mean that I'm gonna remember everything. It was a different life. It's still me, but it's still me at a different point of being alive. At this time, though, He's saying that every one of the other Special Division Devils remember one thing, though, before they died and came back to this world, and that's a sound. And that being the sound of Denji's engine getting revved up. And not just Denji, because we know it's the chainsaw they're after. And like I've talked about very briefly before, it's not a theory that I've gone over a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot of theories. Well, I don't think I have much for theory videos on my channel actually about Chainsaw Man, but I have obviously done a review on every Chainsaw Man chapter. Meanwhile, I just now imagine that the chainsaw, like all these guys got beat with the chainsaw, is because of stuff he's done over in hell. So maybe he's like one of the bigger dogs over there, and not literally, well, I guess literally a big dog, but maybe he's in some way like an executioner over there. There's like a scene I remember off of like the new Hellboy movie, which it's an alright movie. Definitely some bad CGI, but it's an alright movie overall. Got some good action, got a lot of gore, and some really cool monsters. Love the monster designs, definitely. But, and somebody in there's going to be one guy in the comments going to get mad at me about the accuracy of the comics is not even close. I understand. Anyway, this idea, he's just like this kind of regulator of hell. And what do we know? One creature that is a kind of like guard dog to the underworld. Cerberus. What is something about Cerberus? Dog. What is about Pochita? He's a dog. What is something about Cerberus as well? 3 heads. What is something about Pochita? 3 chainsaws. Just imagine a giant chainsaw Cerberus. Oh my god. It would fit into Chainsaw Man's craziness, and it'd be so badass to see. I don't know if it'd be like a giant kind of like Minotaur dog wolf thing with chainsaw arms, or literally just a 3-headed giant demonic dog with 3 chainsaws, one on each face. That would be super badass. I really love that. I really love the ominous feel that was set up in this chapter, just the way that it was laid out. I'm very excited. But then after that, we see a flash over, New York. We see the Statue of Liberty, and these characters who, these 3 brothers, and they're, I guess, going after, they've got this job to hunt Denji, get his heart. I'm guessing, so the, the U.S. military can, utilize him in, their own forces. But these guys seem interesting. I like that they're like a brother unit, but they're apparently talking about how when the gun devil leveled their house to like, getting eaten by a devil, I think they said like their house was on fire. All these things that happened that they should have died, that they lived. And I'm wondering if it's like they just survived through happenstance and they just, have built this idea that they're immortal. Are they maybe hybrids, kind of like, any of the other, special units? Well, not special units, special, kind of hybrids. That's a horrible way to describe. Special beings like the hybrids, which again would be cool because it'd be like, yeah, if you're going to go after these hybrid characters, maybe send your own. Obviously this one would want to be, up there, and maybe some of the, maybe they also have like, their own devils in their kind of inner circles that are intelligent and cooperative. Oh my god, I'm trying to word right now. They're willing to cooperate, and they're able to get information out of them. If they know that the chainsaw is a big deal, then they're gonna want to go for them. And it would be like a logical way, like if these guys are all, they're all some kind of hybrid of their own, maybe that they would be, that they'd be willing to risk, like, oh, that's 3 of these hybrids, but it's like, yeah, but this is a like top tier hybrid, and they have to have something. I doubt they're just trained assassins, and we know Chainsaw Man, you're either gonna have a contract to the devil, you're a fiend, or you're gonna be one of these hybrids. I just don't imagine that these guys would be sent off to go fight him, and if they don't have any of these, unless maybe they have some other power that will be introduced with them. Either way, very interested in seeing how this goes. Some pretty cool guys. I love the idea that these assassins, these worldly assassins, are all going to be coming after Denji. They're all going to want his heart, and they all just want to kind of go after him. And then the gear up time. So we know we have a year in their world to gear up to fight the Gun Devil. So obviously, they're going to want to bolster up their forces, and it gives time for Denji to actually like develop techniques, become more powerful, advance his chainsaw, maybe upgrade his form. But other than that, comment below. It's crazy to see a Chainsaw Man chapter with no action, but I loved the build up. I loved the information about like before they're killed in hell and they come back over here, they hear the sound of just the chainsaw engine. Oh my god, that's so cool. Anyway, comment below, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. With that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. I thank y'all for listening. Bye.